Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week. It was a pretty big week for me with 6 comics, no True Believers editions, and quite a few $5 comics in there. And I also have my own alternate covers I made still up on eBay if you want to check the link below and see those. And it was also an extra long comic shop week. Usually I meet my friend Rob there every week. We hang out and chat for a while. Now this week we met there. There was a 21-year-old guy there who was his first trip to a comic shop, and I think he said he got into it reading The Walking Dead, I guess from the TV show, and he never was to a comic shop to buy comics. So we were giving him all sorts of advice on stuff he could buy, and it's funny because as we commented there, John, who's working at the comic shop, he's the kind of guy who he buys his favorite characters all the time. So he buys, Thor. He doesn't even care who's doing it. He just wants to buy Thor or whatever else. And my friend Rob is, my friend Rob, he's on one end. He buys all different characters. He buys for the characters. I'm on the other end. I buy mostly indie stuff, and I almost always follow artists and writers. My friend Rob is kind of in the middle. He buys a lot of Marvel and DC stuff and some indie stuff. Sometimes he follows characters. Sometimes he follows creators. So it's like we're giving this guy the whole spectrum of what to buy. But he was really enthusiastic about comics. That was good to see. The first free thing we got this week is the Ekman, The Seeds of Tomorrow, which I think is it's a few sample pages and a few designs and things of the new X-Men series. Marvel's canceling all their X-Men series and having just 2 X-Men books for 12 weeks. They must be coming out bi-weekly, one every week or something like that, because I think for 12 weeks there's only those 2 books and it can't be monthly. So I guess this is explaining their... Remember, I just read a lot of this probably in last week's comic shop news, because that was all about that stuff. Or was it about Carnage? I can't remember. There was some of each. Dynamite seeing red this fall. Okay. Comic shop news is the other freebie, telling us everything we got. Looks like some indie stuff in here now. And Superhero Girls. Oh, Inferior 5 is DC stuff. DC stuff. A Basket Full of Heads. Basket Full of Heads is DC? Okay. Freedom Fighters. Red Who Shot Jimmy Olsen. There's all the new DC stuff that's coming out on the last pages. Trees is coming back. You know what? I didn't get this new Lazarus series because the whole idea of it being $8 and square bound and I'm really sad they changed formats, because otherwise I'd still be buying Lazarus, but oh well. Pretty nice Vampirella Red Sonja cover. Wonder who did that. Let's see. I see Terry and Rachel Dodson on the graveyard, so it must be the Dodsons who did that one. Alright, let's see what comics we have. Oh, this one's weird. Well, the comic's not weird. It's Usagi Yojimbo, which I always get. Issue 2 of the new color series. Look at that color for the first time. Well, there was a couple of color specials, but this is the first time the regular series is in. But let me show you this weird defect in the cover. Let's see if I can catch it. Right over here, there's... Ooh, in the black. You can barely see it. I can't get it. Oh, there's folds in the paper. Oh, there you can see it in the light right there. See those 2 lines? One line there, one line there. All the IDWs had that this week. You'll see it on my issue of Ghost Tree when it comes up. But I don't know how you do that. I don't know how all the paper is folded in the same spot. There must have been a paper defect. But I'm an Usagi Yojimbo fan. What's that? Just wonder what that symbol is in the corner there. It says, maybe that's the story. Bunreiku, part 2 of 3. Oh, I guess so. The dots lets you know. Maybe that lets you know it's three issues, and this is the 2 of 3. But either, that's just the story part. But you can always pick up any issue of Usagi and jump on, because it's not that complicated. It's a pretty straightforward story. Let's see, where is Ghost Tree? Come on, where are you, Ghost Tree? I only have 6 comics here. How can you be hiding? There it is. Ghost Tree issue number 4 in the last issue. And let's see if we can find those same... they're right over here. The same exact 2 folds. I can't... Oh, there we go. You see this fold here in the light? There, that's shining white now. 1 fold there and one's up here. All the IDW books this week had. I think it was on like G.I. Joe too. So I don't know how that was at the printer. All the paper was flawed or something. I don't know how you get all those same folds in the. You can barely. There we go. Now we got just the right glare. You can see 1 dark line there and 1 dark line there. What the heck is that? I don't know. Well, this is Ghost Tree number 4. Wish I had the first 2 issues. I read them digitally, and they couldn't be reordered. I don't know why. But sometimes you can't get them. But I jumped on it late, read them digitally, said, "Wow, I really like this story. Let's get it in the actual issues." Got 3 on my list. There's that. She's the ghost with the scary mask to scare away the demons. And it's kind of a slice of life story with some supernatural stuff in it. This one kid, this is the grandfather, and it turns out in their family, it passes down, they can see ghosts. And the grandfather kind of now regrets he's dead, and he's a ghost now. But he kind of regrets spending so much time with ghosts in his life and not enough time with his wife. And now his grandson has come to the tree to visit his grandmother, and he's spending time with the ghosts. But he's happy with the ghosts, and it's really a good story. Let's see who does this. Bobby Curnow is the writer, and Simon Gain is the artist. I really like the art. The writing is excellent too, but I'm sure it'll be out in a trade soon. This is the last issue. It was only 4 issues, so find yourself some Ghost Tree. In the second to last issue, the penultimate issue of The Life and Death of Toyo Harada. And I think Toyo's dead. For real, I don't know. He died in like issue 3, and now his whole plan is turning to hell. As all the world forces are Toyo Harada was trying to bring world peace to the world by force, and the U.S. didn't like it. The NATO nations didn't like it. China didn't like it. Russia didn't like it. So now they're all trying to destroy Toyo Harada, and it's a complicated story that's been going on for a while, but it's good stuff. I really enjoy it. Started in the Renegades, then went to the Imperium, and now is continuing in the Life and Death of Toyo Harada. Various artists, but all written by Joshua Dysart. So it's had a continuity to it that's been really good. And they're flashing back to Toyo Harada's past and when he got his powers in World War II and this and that. This is my favorite of the Valiant comics that has come out, and it's the only Valiant comic I'm still getting. So I enjoy it a whole lot. Oh, and guess what's back? Walt Simonson's Ragnarok. Oh, by the way, Toyo Harada, $5 comic, extra pages. Ragnarok, extra pages, $5 comics. I think I got Little Bird here, $5 comic. And so it's like all these $5 comics. But great stuff. This is Walt doing his own Thor story. He's reimagining the ancient Norse stories of Thor. I think the basic idea here was Thor was taken off the board and somehow when Ragnarok happened, so it didn't happen like predicted, and the gods it didn't end up ending the world, but it ended up killing all the gods, but somehow Thor was still alive but off the board, and he comes back many, many years later, sort of half dead. That's why he's got this no lower jaw face. And the world is just darkness and taken over by evil, and he's trying to figure out what's going on, and it's just really well done. It's good stuff. It's Walt Simonson, sort of at the height of his powers and creativity here, doing his own thing. Been very much enjoying it. They relaunched it with a #1. This is Ragnarok: The Breaking of Helheim. The original one was just Ragnarok, so I guess they're going to be relaunching them now, whatever. I think it comes out every 6 weeks. It's been on hiatus for a while. But I'm glad it's back. I'll be enjoying reading that. And did they still give us the... in the back, they were giving us some process stuff that's always kind of interesting. So you get, 20, 22 pages of... Oh, look at that. I'm glad to see that. That's the 1 in 25 alternate cover by Stan Sakai and Walt Simonson. So Stan, I think, did this part, and Walt did this part, or did they penciled in ink? Yeah. So I'm glad. I would have bought this cover with the first issue if it wasn't a 1 in 25 and extra. So I'm glad to see I've got it here in the issue itself. There's some pencil and ink process work. Always good to see that. And then we've got Little Bird. This is the last issue of Little Bird. Once again, $5 issue, but extra thick. About 38 pages in here of comic, I think was what I counted. Love the art in this. Fantasy story with some weird reality thrown in. Little Bird is this woman of these people who run the world and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, it's a fantasy story. There's always a chosen one. But I've really been enjoying this series. I've really been liking the art and the storytelling. It looks like it all comes to a head this issue, and we'll see who lives and who dies. And the last comic I got, another magazine size one, Love and Rockets. What was this one? $5 comic. Not bad for magazine size. What's funny is just this week I read the last issue of Love and Rockets for the first time. Because I don't know why. I just let it sit around. Because I usually, like I said, my habit is I read my comics the week they come out. I let them sit around for a week, and I read them again the next week and file them away. So I read them all twice. But for some reason, Love and Rockets I put down and was like, the next issue doesn't come out for a while. I'll read it later. And it sat there for, 3 months now, unread. And finally I saw on my list this week there was a new issue. I was like, ooh, I better read that last issue before I get the new issue. So I read issue, 6? Like on today's Thursday, on Tuesday. So now I got to read this one right away. All right, so there's let me show you a little artwork here. This is, this needs some color to pull it together. I've left it really open. One of my Dreams of Things covers, and that's really dreamlike. I don't know what that is. But if you look, I did something weird with this one, because usually I have the logo in black, so I don't have black meet it, because then the two blacks blend together and you can't read the logo. I never do that, but I did that for this one. So I came in with a little white charcoal and ruled the logo out, just to give it a little more edge and make it readable. But yeah, that's something I usually don't do. I don't even know what this thing is. A head on a tripod. And like I said, I left this so open it doesn't quite work for me in black and white, so it's going to have to be color. So I figured I'd show you a little color on these cards too that I was just working on, because these are finished in nice color. Because that one doesn't have its nice color yet. I like the way these came out. These are my art cards. They're baseball card size. I used these in my Drifting and Dreaming comic on Sunday. I was just enjoying working with some color in these ones today. I especially like the color on whatever that one is. That mask came out well. All right, so there you go. A little black and white, little color, and don't forget my own alternate covers I made. That you'll find a link to them where you can get them on eBay. And you guys have a good week out there.